Fall has set in here on our homestead in Nebraska. It has been so beautiful, and although we are slowing down a little bit compared to summer, there's still been so many different things that keep us busy, and we've been doing in prep for winter, like most people who have animals and gardens and such. So in this video, I will share some of the ways that we've been prepping and taking advantage of this warm weather to finish up some projects around our homestead to prepare for, winter. And also some fun activities we've been able to sneak in the pockets of free time during, the busy harvest season. And last but definitely not least, I will share a family favorite recipe for fall, which is an apple cake. Now, fall has never really been a favorite season of mine, but the last few years, as we've tried to be more intentional about living seasonally, and I guess just being out of school, that's helped too. But I've really come to appreciate it for what it is and what it offers. And after a really busy gardening season and preserving all of those things, I just really enjoyed the rest that comes along with it and in winter. And also the decorating. And of course, my dead summer ferns can live on as fall decor, or at least that's what I'll tell myself. Now, as pretty and happy as I am with how all our fall decorations turned out, we do have free range chickens, so I know they will start to enjoy them as well. Now, this fall, we were blessed to get access to a lot of apples, and we decided to try something new, and that was make apple cider. We were also lucky enough to be able to reach out to someone local and borrow an apple press, and it was so cool to just see how it works because we've never been around it. But this is a very old, antique, big apple press. We just threw the apples in there and it grounded them up, as you can see, and then it would move to the front and get pressed, and all the yummy apple cider would be fresh like that. And we would filter it a little bit to make sure we got the leaves off, and we canned it so that we can enjoy it for the rest of these cold winter months. And I was so pleased with how it all turned out. Now, we actually have 4 apple trees here on our property, but we only planted them in the spring. So the day that they start producing, I'll be one very happy lady. And that leads me to the next project that we did, and that was putting grass seed down here in our orchard. We were a little nervous we were going to run out of time because it got planted later than what we would have liked, but we're so happy with how it's been coming up, and it has continued to come up even better since I took that video. Now, we have quite a few videos showing that entire process of how we cleared out some dead trees in our backyard and transplanted all these fruit trees and made it into an orchard, and it's just become such a favorite place of mine. I never really cared for a backyard at all, but now our clothesline is back there, and we have trees, and now beautiful grass, and I'm hoping to get the fence down in the spring now with grass out there. So it's been such a labor of love. It has been so fun to see how it's transformed. Now, I know I've just kind of jumped around to a whole bunch of different things, but that's really how this fall has gone and how I have felt, because not only are we preparing for winter, but maybe you've noticed if you've watched some previous videos or you noticed in this video, but we are planning on welcoming our second baby coming in November. So with that comes its own set of preparations. One thing I did when we had our first daughter was make a bunch of freezer meals to have for afterwards. And having some really good hearty meals for after all of that and when it was busy and just stressful was such a blessing and one of the greatest things that I probably did in preparing for having a baby. So I am planning to do a lot more of that as well, and I hope to get some videos and share some recipes on what I'm going to be making. So stay tuned for those. I hope to get those uploaded, providing nothing goes super crazy in our plan for arrival of the baby. But in order to make a bunch of freezer meals, I needed some freezer space. So I had quite a few chicken carcasses in the freezer from harvesting our chickens a few weeks ago, and I am making some chicken bone broth just to, one, have it on hand and ready to go for nutrition or cooking, but also to get some freezer space for those meals. And last but definitely not least, it wouldn't really be fall without some baking. Now, I enjoy baking all year round, but there is just something about the cooler weather that makes me want to bake a lot. Good or bad, that's just how it is. So, and this apple cake is a favorite of ours. My mom made it growing up, and since my husband came around quite a few years ago, he just really loves this cake. So I saved a few apples back from when we made cider for some baking, and this was one of the things on the list to use them up for. So I needed 4 cups of apples, chopped and peeled, and that's what I'm doing here. It took me actually, I think, 4 apples. So depending on the size of your apples, that's about how many I used. And now that they're all chopped up, I added 2 cups of sugar, 2 teaspoons cinnamon, and I got that mixed up. And once it was all mixed up really good, I let it sit for an hour. And after an hour, it released some of the juices from the apples, and this is what it looked like.
What are you doing?
Now you're going to want to watch your family members because you might lose a few apples during this stage.
Okay, we got all our ingredients here, ready to go. Is that yummy?
And now we just add the rest of the ingredients. So 1 cup of vegetable oil or canola oil or something similar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 teaspoon salt. Again, we love Redmond salt. 1.5 teaspoons baking soda.
Oops, sorry.
2 eggs. And 2 cups flour. Then we'll just get that all mixed up.
Yeah.
Yummy.
And then I poured it into a greased 9x13 pan. And then into a 350-degree oven. It goes for about an hour.
Bake the potatoes?
Yeah.
Here, come here. Come dig the potato.
Now while the apple cake bakes, here we are harvesting our potatoes. So we actually don't grow the majority of our potatoes. My mother-in-law does, but they're such a fun plant to grow and I enjoy harvesting them. So we still plant a couple small rows. It's just fun to have our daughter help with it, and it's just fun digging them up. This is another task that has to be done before it gets cold, and we will put these in potato bags once they're dried and put them upstairs where it's cooler because we don't actually have a root cellar, but it works for us. Now we're back in the kitchen and the apple cake is done. I did bake it in a glass pan, so it baked actually in about 50 minutes. But so just be mindful of what pan you're using. But I did check it just to make sure, and I didn't want to overcook it because nothing is good when it's overcooked. But now I will start on the icing, which is probably one of the better parts. So I put in 1 stick of butter, 1 cup sugar, and heated that up because my butter was frozen. Added a 1/4 cup cream. Milk would also do if that's what you have, but of course I love cream. And just get it mixed all good together, just so it's all one. You can tell it's one consistency, I guess. And then I poured it over the hot apple cake. And of course, you want to spread it around to make sure that it is covering every inch of this cake.
That's good.
Well, my husband approved it, so I will put that recipe down in the description box below and make sure to try it. And if you do, let me know in the comments. And I just hope you are having a wonderful fall wherever you are. So until next time.